Hello and welcome to the Ramsard podcast with me, your host Simon. On my own today, no guest, I'm afraid, just me and my ramblings. First of all, I'm going to start the show actually with a little bit of lightheartedness. There's a guy on Twitter called DCFC Review. You may have seen, you may not. Honestly, during these horrible times at the minute being a Derby County sport, that man seriously has been unreal, to be honest. He's actually a comedian. He really is. Some of the things he says, if you've seen a yeehaw across Twitter, then that's where it's come from. So you've had a yeehaw there, and you say you listen to my podcast, here's your proof. I want proof now. I want a DM that says, oh, thanks for the shout out, I heard you yeehaw me. Yeehaw, buddy. So yeah, if you're not following, if you want to laugh, just go follow him, because really, really light-hearted humor, very funny guy. So I've just seen him on Twitter, and he's DM'd me a few times, and yeah, he seems like a laugh. So yeah. Anyway, to business then. So my last podcast then with Jake and Salam, we were discussing the sacking of Philip Koku and obviously the takeover. Now, we expected, I suppose, I think it's been a couple of weeks now, so we expected to have some changes in place, and that we have, because there's been, we've obviously lost against Bristol and Barnsley since then, and also at the weekend, we drew against Wycombe Wanderers 1-1. But we will talk about, I think, one of the main things, and that is return of the Mac, part 3 or part 5, if you want to include his playing time as well. So Steve McClaren is back under the helm, he's not a manager. He's not managing, though. He is a technical advisor. That is what he has been selected and hired to do, a bit of a sort of director of football role, which again, in itself is a very sort of complicated sort of job description to describe. However, he'll basically be that focal point between the manager and the new owners, or the owners at the minute. Again, the position, though, obviously it's been brought in by Mel and Stephen Pearce, as the takeover still hasn't happened yet. Interesting one, because we don't know how long it's going to be for. It depends on ratification, as the statement said, from the new owners, and so it sounds like the takeover is still on, with the fact that the statement says new owners. We still don't know when it's going to happen. I've heard and seen rumours that there's EFL appeal is holding it up. I got told it was 3 weeks. Now I've been told it's Tuesday. Not sure. I haven't got any evidence or proof to back it up. The 3 weeks one, I was told it was on Radio Derby. I didn't personally hear it myself, but I was told by somebody that they've said it's 3 weeks for the hearing, for the appeal. And then the takeover done, and that sort of makes sense if that is what's holding it up. If there is an appeal against our amortization policy, there could be a points deduction, etc. All that, so there could be a reason why we've not sort of changed contracts or whatever yet. But as far as everyone's concerned, in Wayne Rooney's press conference before the Wycombe game, it did state that he would be. He did state that the takeover is just days away. So, speaking of Mr. Rooney, I'll go back to McClaren in a minute. Rooney is now our interim manager. So they've tried, when Cocker got sacked, they went for sort of a 4-man team of Wayne Rooney, Liam Rosenior, Shay Given, and Justin Walker. And to be honest, we saw 2 dismal performances with that team at the helm. And now, according to Wayne Rooney's press conference, he says that they had a chat with McClaren included, and they stated that he would be the best man going forward for the job, and they need 1 man. And yeah, that is true. Having 4 managers, if you want to call them that, or a team of 4 coaching staff, especially when you've got Wayne Rooney playing on the pitch as well, it's going to cause all sorts of confusion, and it's not good. It's an absolute it's a strange decision. Why would you do that? You either go in and get a new manager, again, that isn't going to happen though until the takeover's done, or you pick an interim. So why it took him 2 games to realize that Wayne Rooney was, they're going to be the interim manager, I don't know. And this then brings me to the return of Steve McClaren. Now, was it Barnes? Was it not? I said Barnes, didn't I? I'm trying to think. You know what? We've had that many games recently that I've actually forgot who we came in against. Then we just had to double check because it wasn't. We have played Barnsley and we lost, and then we lost against Bristol City. Yeah, it was Bristol City. He came in for. He came into the dressing room for Bristol City at half time. Let me just double check that. I don't want to tell you wrong facts here. Yeah, no, I'm lying. So we played Bristol City and then we played Middlesbrough. So Bristol City, we lost 1-0. Middlesbrough, well, yeah, Middlesbrough was an absolute farce, absolute shambles, and I think the last straw. McClaren went into the dressing room at half time. Second half, you know, I can't lie, there was a little bit of improvement in the performance. It was a bit more direct. But Rossini then decided to change 3 at the back. As soon as he did that, they went and scored 2 more goals, and the defense was poor, shut off. There was no excuses for what an absolute wretched performance that was. You know, it almost mirrors the Blackburn performance. And then obviously we went on to Wycombe, and again at halftime, McClaren was back in the dressing room at halftime. Who's running this? Who is running this club at the minute? I am, I guess, getting quite frustrated about the situation at the moment, to be honest, because there's no communication from the club to all the fans. You've got, they're saying McClaren's technical advisor, yet he's going in the dressing room at half time. We've had nothing off him. We've had one statement about, you know, his role, and there was nothing about what his role was, essentially, from the club. There's been nothing at all that's coming out. Then today we've got rumours going that, you know, McClaren's going to use his contacts to get Matty Longstaff in January. We don't need another midfielder. We need a striker. We need someone who can put the ball in the net. Now, this whole takeover situation for me, this is going to be a little bit of, I'm not going to say a rant. I'm going to try and keep it as level-headed as I can. But I think I'm mirroring a lot of fans' frustrations at the minute, because a lot of us are saying, what is going on? You know, there's no communication from the club whatsoever. It is just total, you know, almost silence. It's deafening. Is a takeover happening? Is it not? Let us know. If it's not happening, it's not happening. Get over it. If it is, you know, what's the hold up? Surely they can't not just say, oh, well, yeah, the takeover, even just the same, yeah, the takeover is still happening, etc. And yeah, maybe the new owners don't want to say that, but there needs to be some clarity, because obviously what's happening is, and I've said this before, but if there's uncertainty at the top, domino effect, it is going to go down, and it is going to go to the players. We had Andre Wisdom saying after the game, they're training nice and well, but he comes to a match day and it's like they forget how to play football. Now, why? Then you got all the stuff going on with the coaching situation. Now, all of a sudden, Wayne Rooney, who hasn't got his B license yet, is all of a sudden interim coach, so he has to have someone that's qualified, no doubt McClaren, with him. If Mel's brought McClaren, I did say this. I said this on a couple of podcasts back. I said, if Mel Morris stays on as a technical advisor, stays on as an advisor, then Steve McClaren will be back in some way, shape, or form. And hey, there he is. I don't care if he's here. It doesn't bother me. Every time he's come in, we've been near the bottom of the table, not this deep into the bottom, but he's come in and he's helped turn things around. Yes, he's not got us promoted, but he's got us out of a sticky situation before twice. Just give him the job. If you've brought him here to go, right, you're a technical advisor because we can't hire a manager yet because I'm not paying for a manager, I can't put you on a contract, all I can do is make you an advisor and put you on a salary, etc. Then the new owners can say, yeah, we want you, no, we don't. That's fine. But for me personally, I personally think that, you know, we've seen lots of names bandied around for new manager. Rafa Benitez, Eddie Howe, Sam Allardyce, Phil Cook, Steve Cook, Steve Cooper, Phil Cook. I can't believe remember now. There's been that many. John Terry, Wayne Rooney. Just give McClaren's obviously here, and for me personally, I think McClaren's here because when the new owners come in, he will be more than just a technical advisor. He'll be in the dugout, whether it's manager, whether it's assistant manager, whether it's a coach, whatever. I personally think he'll be there. I could be wrong. You know, this is just my opinion, but there needs to be some clarity at this club. And it's really frustrating. You know, Derby, we've got no divine right to be in the Premier League. We've got no divine right to be in in the playoffs. But that squad on paper is not a bottom 3 squad, without doubt. Look at Marshall. Yeah, he went down Wigan last year, but he's probably one of the best keepers in the league when it came to clean sheets. You know, I look at Buchanan, England under 21 star. Yes, he's finding his feet, but he's an absolute, he's been brilliant this season. You know, your centre backs, look at Clark, Wisdom, Davis, all experienced players, apart from Clark, obviously, but he knows this league. He played with us last season, player of the year, good player. Nathan Byrne, again, another one, was great for Wigan last season. Good championship player, very good championship player. Our midfield is stacked with the likes of Christian Bielik, Graham Shinney, Jason Knight, Bird, Sibley. Maybe that's where we're missing. Maybe that's where we're wrong. Maybe we haven't got a championship squad. Maybe we're missing out in midfield. Haven't got that experience in there. Someone like a Tom Huddleston, something like that. Up front, we've got a Lawrence, we've got Waghorn, Jozviak, Ibe when he's fit. Colin Kazim Richards, I'll come on to him in a minute. There's a lot of decent players in that squad on paper. A lot of players have been here, seen it, and done it all before. Now, we look a shell of a side that we were last year. Even last season, apart from obviously the likes of Chris Martins and Tom Huddlestons that have left, amongst obviously Malone and Yozazoon and Marriott, who weren't really getting much game time anyway, that squad isn't a great deal of difference. We're still using youngsters. We're still using the academy graduates. Bogle and Lowe. Bogle, a lot of people said Byrne was an ideal replacement, good replacement. Probably nothing in it between them, really. Max Lowe, well, Buchanan's better than him. We've got Forsyth as backup, who was one player that had an absolute blinding game against Wycombe at the weekend. You're telling me that squad is not good enough to compete at this level? Not for me. Whether it's mid-table, they are not a bottom of the table club. No way. So whether it's the uncertainty of the takeover is getting to them, for me, it's a must. Whether it's no fans in the stadium, yeah, a lot of people, the questions on, across the media, social media, Radio Derby, etc. What would the fans be like if they were here? After these performances. Well, I don't think these performances would exist if the fans were here. Because the fans, you look at the likes of Derby, you look at the likes of Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, all used to having big crowds. Last season, then big crowds helped. It's no surprise that, Forest have lost their crowd. Derby have lost that. We've lost our crowd. Our performances have gone poor, rubbish. We're not getting results. That's another factor. But I think the main factor is this clarity from Mel Morris, and it's sad because obviously he's supposedly a fan, been a fan all his life, etc. Taken over the club, and he had good intentions. We can't say he didn't, but the reality is he came here with a 5-year plan to get us promoted, get us playing Premier League football, get us fighting for Champions League football. That was his 5-year plan. That's what he wanted to do. So he spent a massive amount of money. He gave Paul Clement a very experienced number 2, but never been a number 1. He gave him a massive pot of money and said, "Here you go, crack on." Then sacked him after we were top. I think we dropped to 5th or something. Then he sacked him, and he went, "Oh, I've sacked him because he's not playing the Derby way." What? Come on. You're not playing the Derby way. I'll get rid of you. More like we went through a lull like we normally do in February. Bad decision. Brings in Nigel Pearson. Again, another very respected, very good championship manager. Doesn't agree with him. Doesn't like what he's, if the stories are true that he had drones watching their training sessions to see what they were up to. No wonder they fell out. At the end of the day, Nigel Pearson is a manager, with good credentials. Why is he being spied on by the owner? And then obviously we're losing. We're down near the bottom of the table. Gets rid of him. Has an argument with him. Falls out of him if the rumours are true. In comes Steve McClaren again to save our bacon. Here he comes. He's here. He overachieves. Gets into top 6. All of a sudden hits a lull. Hits a slump. Or we lose 3-0 against Brighton, have a really, really, really poor performance. Mel sacks him. No team, no Derby team should ever perform like that. What? One game we played bad like that. Again, same sort of time of year. You know, and I think McClaren had an interview with Athletic where he was sort of told he was supposed to be backed by Mel, said, right, don't, you know, we'll get to the end of the season, I'll back you in the summer. All of a sudden, Gary Rowett becomes available. Clubs are sniffing around. Oh, I want Gary Rowett. He's the next up-and-coming manager. I'll have him. Sacks McClaren, gets in Rowett. Yeah, fair play. Gave Rowett money. Rowett went and bought a lot of experienced players. Got us to the playoff semis. Sacks, well, obviously, Rowett walked, sorry. You know, a lot of people think it's because of money. He argues his case and says, no, it's actually because Mel was asking me to do things I physically didn't think I could do. Again, and that was regarding around bringing players in from the academy. In comes Frank Lampard. Yeah, a risk, a gamble, but he brought in 3 experienced players. Again, Lampard was backed with money. You know, we bought the likes of Waghorn, Marriott, Yozazoon, Malone, you know, obviously Tomori, Martin Wilson. I can't remember. He was back, got to his playoff final, and then decided not to play a striker in the playoff final. And then, you know, obviously, you know, the rest is history. You get argument with Chelsea. Brings in Koku, and you think, right, okay, he doesn't give him a budget. He doesn't really. Well, actually, we spend 10 million on Christian Bielik, near enough the same day that Koku, or a couple of days after Philip Koku walked through the door. Was that a Koku signing? Was it? Was Bielik worth 10 million? Obviously, he may be. You know, for me, Bielik is a great player, really, really good player. But, you know, obviously his injury, he's not had a chance to show how good he can be. So, you know, that was that gone. Then we got loans in like Dowell and Patterson. Were they Koku sort of, did Koku go, yeah, I love them? I doubt he did. Because I doubt he's watched a great deal of Kieran Down. I doubt he's watched a great deal of Bristol City and Patterson. You know, so he wasn't backed at all. In January, again, wasn't back. We ended up signing Mike Tavera kind of free. Again, the Wayne Rooney one as well. I can't really, for me personally, I don't think Koku was really, well, he would have been aware of it. It would have been, oh yeah, we're signing Wayne Rooney, by the way. He wouldn't have had the choice to say, well, I don't want him. No way. That was a publicity stunt. You know, he thought, oh, Lampard's left. You know, we were in the news almost every week with Frank Lampard. I need to get someone else in. Oh, Rooney's free. Well, I'll get Rooney. So in comes Wayne Rooney. As a player coach, and it was sort of touted that he would be the next Derby County manager. Yeah, I'm not being funny. If I'm Philip Cock, I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do? What do I do? You've given me a 4-year contract. You want me to bring youth players through, and yet you're saying promotion is the aim. I'm sorry, but for me, there was no way the promotion was the aim. That was just said to sort of, I suppose, please the fans. This was basically Mel's way of covering up and saying, we haven't got a pot to piss in. We haven't got much money to spend on transfers. We're struggling financially. So yeah, here you go. We're going to use the academy though. Use the academy players, right? Okay, we use the academy players. You know, don't get me wrong. Some of the players that have come through, Knight, Sibley, Bird, you know, brilliant players. Obviously, we sold Max Lowe and Jalen Bogle for whatever the price was, between 11 and 20 million or whatever it was, whether it is that or not. They've come through from the academy, obviously the year before. So he's trying to make money off the academy. So obviously he doubts the talent that he's got already, you know, with the likes of the other players, like Tom Lawrence, for example. I think he's on his last year of his contract now. Maybe have one more year. For me, it's a bit concerning. And then this year, I suppose he was back. We don't know how much Marshall and Byrne cost. Some saying they were free, others saying it were a couple $100,000. We bought obviously Jozwiak for about 2.5, 3.5 mil, something like that. So we've not spent a great deal this window. Bought Ibin on a free, Bobby Duncan in on a free, Kazim Richards in on a free. I knew there was one more. And we let the likes of Martin Marriott and, you know, Yozazoon Malone, all them go. So really, it's no wonder we're sort of struggling like we are. You know, and was a lot of people wanted Cocker to be sacked. I wasn't really in that boat. It was, you know, why the manager's here, we'll back the manager. He's obviously, you know, I looked at everything long-term wise, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go, and I wasn't surprised to see him go. I thought it was on the cards. But then to do that, well, actually, it was mutually terminated. He wasn't sacked. It wasn't, you know, he's been sacked. It was his contract's been mutually terminated. For me, that suggests that Koku walked. I'm not saying he did. I haven't got proof of that, but that suggests to me that he actually went, Mel, look, you're asking me to do things I can't do. You know, there's a lot of sort of cloud, you know, I'm trying to think of the word. Can't think of it. You know, insecurities around the club. I tell you what, I'll walk. Maybe he felt that Mel wanted Rooney as manager. Maybe that's what he felt. He thought, oh yeah, if I get Rooney as manager, that'd be decent. I've got another big named player that's now joining his first management stint. Look at me, I'm Mel Morris. I give ex-pros their first time in, you know, their first goes in English management. Maybe something like that. I don't know. But I personally think Koku walked. I think he did Mel a favour and walked, and went, okay, I'll just take and he took a smaller settlement as well. So, in theory, it's been a bit of a shitstorm since Mel took over. I'm not, that's just pointing out obviously the negative stuff that's happened under Mel. Obviously, we have made 2 playoff finals, or well, 1 playoff final under Mel, and as he took us after. And is it 3 playoff semi-finals? And he has given money to managers. He has tried to get us out of this team. Maybe he interfered too much. Perhaps that's one of my other theories. Interfered too much. In the academy, he's invested a lot of money into the academy, and we are now starting to see what they can bring through. But there is far too much lack of communication coming out. It's like I tweeted out. Rob Dorset tweeted the day after Rooney was confirmed interim manager. Rob Dorset tweeted that players didn't know that Rooney had been appointed. They found, a lot of them found out when on Sky Sports News. Excuse me. You're making a big decision about who the next manager is going to be or who's going to take his club forward. The 4 coaches have a conversation, and there's no doubt Mel would have been involved, probably Stephen Pearce, Steve McClaren, all involved. And the players aren't told. Have they not got phones? Again, communication, shambolic. There's no wonder in the situation we're in. If that's what it's like from the top, sort it out. It needs sorting, and it needs sorting fast, because we're seeing. I'll have to admit, the Wycombe performance was, I guess, an improvement. But there was players that when we played against Middlesbrough, they looked like they didn't want to be there, which is fine. If you're not happy here and you don't want to be here, hand in a transfer request in January, and go find yourself another club where you feel you might be happier. Because right now we need players who are going to battle for 90 minutes. 110% put a badge on that shirt of theirs. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying I'm not saying individually they're not trying. But something drastic has got to happen, because we cannot keep affording to be dropping points. I look at Wycombe, for example. Rooney made 7 changes to the team that played against Middlesbrough, and he brought in an experienced squad. He went, I'll go for experience over youth in my first game. So he went, whether it was a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, it's debatable, whatever. But he went Forsyth at left back, Clark and Davis as your 2 centre backs, Wisdom at right back. So he dropped Buchanan, which was a strange one, and Byrne, again, maybe debatable, but possibly the right thing to do. Your midfield, then you had Shinnie, which definitely needed to come back in, which I think, to be honest, he must have felt aggrieved, because he was playing well when Rooney was out for this 2 games due to Corona. And then he yeah, well, all of a sudden, Rooney comes back and Shinnie gets dropped. He was one of our best players in them 2 games. So yeah, Shinnie, Evans, which was again another odd one, odd selection. Didn't expect that. So Shinnie, Evans, Sibley in midfield. If I'm right, as a 10. Yeah, then Lawrence, Colin Kazim Richards, and Dwayne Holmes. Whether it was a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3 with Evans holding and Shinnie and Sibley working, getting forward. Sibley was playing quite high. To be honest, he was playing, trying to get in and around Kazim Richards. But we played some direct football. We didn't play into this tippy tappy sort of trying to build from the back, etc. We got the ball. The first thing we tried to do was always get the ball up to Colin Kazim Richard, who, we were all underwhelmed. Let's not deny it. We were all underwhelmed when he was signed. We all went, what we signing a 34-year-old striker that has barely scored any goals. He's been around 8 countries over his 16-year career in football. We all went, what? No way. But he looked like the person we've been missing. The ball, I said it yesterday, it looked like he had glue on his body, on his feet, everywhere, because that ball just stuck to him. He used his physical presence, and he played some nice, cute little balls off. It was like having Chris Martin, only a little bit quicker. So where have you been? I'm all for, obviously he's not played, I think, since March, because I think he was in Mexico at the time when the COVID hit, and obviously the football got cancelled and everything. So he's not really played. So I do get the fitness aspect there, but for me, he's been having like 10, 15 minutes. You're not going to get any. Just start him and put him on. We persevere with Waghorn, who for me is not your target man sort of type striker. We try with Marriott as well. Again, another person that isn't your hold-up type striker. Just put him on. And Rooney took the risk, put him on. We got 60-odd minutes out of him, and he was phenomenal. He gave a really good interview afterwards as well. Talked about how they've been grinding, and how we've got no time. We haven't got time to sort of rest on our laurels. He said there's no point mincing your words. Coventry, we've got to win. I actually really like. I was, I guess, underwhelmed, I suppose, by the transfer, but I'd always back. I'm not go, oh shit, he's not going to do anything, is he? I'll always get behind a player, and I won't judge a player until I've seen him play. That's just who I am. I've always been that way. Eh? You look at someone and go, oh, no way, but I tell you what, let's give him a chance. And I'm giving him a chance. And yeah, I'm starting to like him even more now. A great display. I liked him from when I first saw him come on against Forest, and he's rattling players, defenders left, right, and centre. He's all about making his presence known, unsettling centre backs. So again, really good interview as well. And happy that he started. And he was, he had a goal disallowed, which is unfortunate. Now, it's weird. McClaren is technical advisor. All of a sudden, the football, for me, started looking a little bit McClaren-esque. Notably, Craig Forsyth playing early low balls across the penalty area. Remember, I think it was it was either Fulham or Wolves, one of them where we battered them 5-0. Forsyth plays a ball right across from the left-hand side to Johnny Russell who comes flying in from the right, and he sticks it away. I think it was Wolves, and he sticks it away absolutely brilliantly. I note forward Colin Kazim Richards' goal that was disallowed. Early ball played in by Craig Forsyth. Colin Kazim Richards nips in at the back post, sticks it away, deemed offside. I didn't see another angle of it that would suggest he was on or offside. It looked close, it looked tight, but this is football, this is championship. We don't need VAR. No doubt if it went to VAR, it probably would have been a fingernail off, so they would have given it offside, disallowed it anyway, but it is what it is. However, he didn't let his head drop. Moments later, Tom Lawrence, nice little bit of footwork, probably the best bit of football he did, bless him. All game, he just struggled to get in the game again, Tom Lawrence, and these are the players that we need right now. But I think, like I say, Tom Lawrence, he's a confidence player. We all know this. When the team's playing well, he'll play well. he needs to try and be that player that when the team's not playing well, he needs to play well. He needs to sort of create and try his best. I think he needs a goal as well. That would help. So yeah, Tom Lawrence, nice little bit of trickery around a couple of defenders. Played it to CKR on the edge box. First time ball, front post. Dwayne Holmes with a little back heel. Nice little flick in, absolute. As Martin Fisher once said, actually, on Simon Dawkins' goal when we beat Fulham in the Cup, the Carabao Cup, I think it was, or whatever it's called by the League Cup, when we beat them 5-2. An impotent flick from Simon Dawkins. Well, this was an impotent flick from Dwayne Holmes, who, absolutely fantastic finish. And you think, right, yeah, McClaren's definitely having an input. Because this is the sort of football at times we were playing under McClaren. Now, obviously, like I said, McClaren's in the building now. He's going to have a say on things. Whether he's taking training sessions or, maybe he is. Rooney says he's leaning on McClaren. Of course, he's going to lean on him. He's an experienced coach, very good coach. But there was some McClaren-esque football going on against Wycombe, which is probably another reason why CKR started, because he's that hold-up man. He's that Chris Martin type player. We had Sibley getting in close to him, trying to feed off balls. He had a chance to give us the lead, but his header from 6 yards was headed over. Nice little cross from Wisdom. Again, that came from a Forsyth cross from the left, fizzed across the face of the goal. No one could quite get it. I think Sibley missed the first touch, the first ball. Then Dwayne Holmes couldn't quite get the second one. Then Wisdom just dinked it back in, and Sibley headed over the bar. And yeah, that could have been 1-0. And the first half was brilliant. It really was some good football. We were creating. People couldn't have been bored in the first half because we were actually creating chances and probably could have scored 2 or 3 with a bit more composure in front of goal and a bit more luck. Evans was denied fantastically, point blank range by the Wycombe keeper. Header about 3 yards out. He did everything right. Ball came to him, headed it back where the keeper was coming from. He's got a paw to it and managed to get it away. Goalkeepers Union, that was a fantastic save and well done to that man. So we created chances. Clark was causing trouble in the box from corners, headed one wide. In the second half as well, Dwayne Holmes was played through one-on-one again, another good shot. Probably should have done better. I think he hit it too. John, they say he hit it too cleanly. Yeah, he definitely hit this too clean, hit it too straight at the keeper. And then Forsyth had a header cleared off the line as well. Matt Clark from the corner, headed down, keeper, another great save, and Forsyth with the follow-up, and it just wouldn't go in. And next minute, Wycombe got under the pitch, ball crossed in. Could Shinnie have got closer to the man crossing it? It's debatable. Maybe he could have tried to stop it a bit further, but that's what we need to do. We need to stop these balls coming into box. But I think whether Wisdom was caught napping or not or what, but yeah, it's got over him. Man at the back post heads it. And Marshall sort of got a hand to it, can't really push it away, and then it's bundled in by Bloomfield. And then the only real notable chance of that was, I think Akinfenwa, he sort of turned in the box, put on wide. He was a threat. Second half, Wycombe changed their game plan and went, right, we need to get the ball into their area. So they put Akinfenwa on, who's basically like CKR, only a wider version. Everything stuck to Akinfenwa. He's not the fastest, he's not the most skillfulest player, but he knows how to control the ball, use his weight, use his size, physical presence to knock defenders out of the way and play it into his teammates. And he did a really good job at doing that. Following up with that, I think it was McCleary who smashed it in from the corner of the box, and I think Marshall got fingertips on the bar, bounced out. And then I think Derby may have had a chance to win it at the end, if I remember rightly. A ball, again, another ball from the left, right across the face of goal, and Waghorn, you just wanted him to just. I wouldn't say he bottled it, but I think if it coming to his left foot, he would have put it in, but it was coming to his right, and he just didn't go full force. And he needed to get in there, wipe the defender out, just get anything on the ball to put it into an empty net. But it ended 1-1, and things changed when Colin Kazim Richards came off and Dwayne Holmes came off. Now, again, all down to fitness. Those two and Forsyth were probably the best 3 players on the pitch for Derby in the first half. And it's not surprising. Yeah, like I say, Wycombe changed their game plan. They started knocking balls up. But they had to. They're chasing the game. We're looking at a Wycombe side that people go, "Oh, it's League One. We should have beaten them." The League One side at best. These guys, the last 5 games they've beaten Birmingham. They lost against Forest, but they drew against Brentford. They drew against Huddersfield, and obviously they've drawn against us. They are. Yeah, they're not the most high quality side in the league. Neither were Burton Albion when they came up, but they found a way to get results. They dug out results. They didn't quit. They never said died. This team went 1-0 behind against Watford and should have won it, really. Look where Watford are. So it doesn't really matter what standard that you think they are. At the end of the day, they come with a game plan. And, yeah, we should be beating them on paper. And we didn't. And, again, like I said, it changed when Holmes and Colin, Cassie and Richards came off. It totally disrupted our flow. We couldn't keep the ball up top, struggled to get out and stay up with Waghorn and target man role. Waghorn is as good as he was under Lampard. He's not a target man. He's better sort of, I reckon, as a sort of winger on the right hand side. A lot better there. Not as a target man, but again, the more minutes Calazin Richards plays, the fitter he's going to get. So hopefully he starts again against Coventry on Tuesday night, and he can get another 70, 80 minutes in, because he was blowing. And same with Dwayne Holmes. Dwayne Holmes is a player. I'll get onto this as well. Dwayne Holmes is a player that we saw how good he can be under Lampard. We saw how good he can be at the back end of last season, from January last season, basically. So when he was fit, we saw how good he can be. A lot of fans quite liked Dwayne Holmes last season under Koku when he was fit and firing, playing in a more central role as well. This time he played on the wing, the right wing. People go, "Oh, I can't play on the wing." He scored though, didn't he? Really good player going forward. He's getting in good positions, taking on his man, drifting in field as well. Creating space on the outside for the likes of Wisdom to get forward as well. He played well, and he has had some stick because of the fact that he streams. I've spoken about him before at Juddy19X. Streams on Twitch, plays Wars. If you're into that, go follow him on Twitch at Juddy19X. He also does Juddy Talks podcast as well. He gets some good guests on that. Very good guests. Like I said before, he's had the likes of Max Lowe on there, Jack Marriott, Dwayne Holmes for Derby Wise. So if you're interested, go check it out. Juddy Talks podcast. But yeah, and he streams. He plays video games. He streams. That's him. That's up to him. That's his hobby. He likes to do that. He doesn't even go doing it on a Friday night stream until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't do that. He's got responsibilities. He knows he's a player. So for someone to call him out and say you should be playing, maybe you should concentrate more on your football than playing Warzone or whatever it's called, it's out of order. And Dwayne quite rightly chatted back to him about that. For me, anyway. Now, his celebration, if you saw it, there's a picture of him pretending to hold a PlayStation controller. Whatever. You know what? Fans, this is what I'm talking. There is disparity between the fans and players at the minute. We are having poor performances, and obviously social media is a powerful thing. I think I remember speaking about it with Shane Nicholson when I had him on the show. Shane Nicholson said if he was a manager of a club, he'd tell him not to have social media or put it private at least, because you're going to get backlash. You're going to get fans calling you out. Now, Dwayne is someone that interacts with fans. Dwayne goes on Juddy's Twitch and he'll interact with the people that are on Juddy's Twitch stream. He interacts with people on Twitter. So to call him out for his hobby is a bit silly. Now, his celebration, I guess, it's the same as when Tom Lawrence put his fingers in his ears. He knew he wasn't playing well, but fans constantly berating him and giving him stick and tagging him in tweets and stuff like that. It's not going to help him, is it? So there's no wonder when he scored that goal, he ran away with his fingers in his ears. Same with Waghorn. Waghorn, again, there's another person that gets tagged on Twitter. or you're poor and all this. If it was you, what would you do? That's the question I'm going to ask. If someone was giving you stick online or whatever, and you were a professional sportsman or whatever, surely you'd give it back, because I know I would, regardless of the fact. Obviously, the argument was, "Oh, we're in a relegation zone. We drew 1-0, didn't we?" Yeah, I get that, but you're still giving players stick. Dwayne was brilliant. Dwayne played a really good game. There's no denying that. Up until he got taken off, again, like I said, one of our best players. I know it's difficult at the minute. I really understand it. I feel the frustrations too. Marty is out at the minute on Saturday nights. After we've played and lost or drawn. I was really pissed off because we should have beat Wycombe, no doubt about it. And it's tough to hold your emotions in. It really is. But I just think it is, for me anyway. It's I suppose my sort of not rules, but that's the way I feel. You shouldn't really be atting players. Of course, when we're at the ground, you mutter to fans and stuff. Other fans are go, you give it there, and I think that's what we're missing. That's why fans are getting frustrated, because they can't take the frustrations out with fans at the stadium. We can't do that. So it is really, because one thing I'm saying, I used to tweet like all the time, like 24/7, but I think I've held back a little bit at the minute because there's a lot of, I feel, hostility, especially on Twitter, amongst Derby fans that there probably wouldn't be, and it's due to situations. It's probably the only reason there is. Obviously, we're not, a lot of, some fans aren't used to seeing us scrapping and scraping down the doldrums of the, bottom of the league. With the used to obviously, fighting for top six, etc. Some of us have been, that's the thing. It's a broad spectrum of social media. You've got fans that have been there since the Clough days, and I don't mean Nigel, I mean Brian. Sir Brian. They've been there since then. They've seen us, like my dad's seen us get relegated, seen us get promoted, seen us get promoted to the Prem, etc. All that, we've all seen that. He's seen that. But then you've got others that, that haven't seen that, have seen us probably get relegated from the Premier League. And then obviously we've had a couple of years where it's been a bit poor. Then we've had, let's be honest, we've had 6, 7 really good years as Derby County fans. We've just failed to get our ultimate goal, which is getting back to the Premier League. And I think that's now where we're going, oh my gosh, we could be in League One. I tweeted out earlier on, again, saying, so I think, again, this again goes sort of with where we are. This is why we need communication, find out what's going on, because if we get relegated, this club is in the mess. Is the takeover going to happen, for one? If this club gets relegated, if we're in a position where this doesn't happen and all of a sudden we find ourselves 9, 12, 15 points adrift, no one's going to go, well, can't we doing that? I don't want to be taking a League One club. I'm just saying. And then if we do go down, the likelihood is that teams in Championship, Premiership are going to come for the likes of Bird, Sibley, Knight. Some of you don't rate them, but there is talent there. Buchanan, etc. Academy players. I think Cade Gordon, who plays for the under-18s, he's 15, 16. Man United are already touting him up. That's what I'm hearing from a big Manchester United source. That he could be joining Manchester United. So we saw the likes of Liam Delap go for $1 million or something like that. So if Derby go down to League One, it'll be a free for all. Because we know our academy is good. Our academy is fighting in the Premier League too. The under 23 is in the Premier League too, with all the big guns. Your Arsenals, your Manchester United, your Chelsea's, Liverpool's, all them, Man City's, they're in with all them. So the academy has got to be good. So clubs will come in. You're gonna probably lose the likes potentially of Bielik, Jozwiak. They ain't gonna stick around. Then you got players on the last years of their contract. I think Waggle's on the last year of his contract. Probably won't decide to stay if we go down to League One. I'm not saying that's my opinion. So you're going to have a depleted squad. We're going to be in a right mess. We really are. If we go down, now I know someone put today, we're not going to go down. Yeah, but we could. It's a possibility. You know, I've seen sleepwalking into a relegation battle. We're not sleepwalking. We are in a relegation battle. We are bottom of the league. Yeah, the point again is only I think it's 5 points or something like that off Forest. So that's a plus. So we are still in touch. But we need a run, and we need a run to happen like now. You know, like the Coventry game, that needs to be a win. Yeah, I didn't think I'd say that Wycombe and Coventry were going to be 6 pointers, but they are. In reality, they are. You know, it's a tough watch at times at a minute. Yeah, the performances are getting better, but we need to do it for 90 minutes. Doing it for 45, 60 minutes isn't good enough. You know, so we need to get a goal scorer. January is going to be, this is probably going to be the biggest January we've had in a long, long time. Long time. Simply fact is, you know, we need to get players in, and we need it now. So anyway, sorry, I know I've ranted a bit there. But anyway, part 2 then will be your questions, and I'll also preview the Coventry game. So stay tuned for that. Right, welcome back to part 2 of the podcast. So questions then. First one is from Cov Ram, so Martin Dempster on Twitter. He says, how much has the team missed the crowd at Pride Park? Would we have been a major help or a hindrance with the current situation? So I've touched on this. Yeah. I don't think we'd be in the current situation if crowds were still allowed at Pride Park. I genuinely don't. Even at the back end of last season, you know, when we played Forest, I think that's when I felt that the sort of turn of events sort of started to go, where we start to see poor performances, players potentially looking like they didn't really want to be there. Well, not be there, but they thought, you know, it's a struggle. You know, I've just had 3 months off or whatever it was, and we've come back, and yeah, we're missing that sort of, especially a game as well like Forest, where, you know, you used to having a big crowd cheering you on and getting behind you, especially at Pride Park. We know what Pride Park's like. You know, last season our home form has, you know, helped massively, because we couldn't, you know, if we'd been playing away, well, yeah, if our home form last season was like what our away form was, we'd be where we were this season. So yeah, for me, the crowd is a massive help, and I don't think we'd be getting this. I don't think we'd be sat where we are without if we had crowds in. I think we are struggling. We are missing fans, regardless of, you know. So for me, and I think, you know, if we were playing this bad, you know, then the board would know about it. You know, we know Mel Morris comes to Pride Park, watches the games. He would know how the fans are really feeling. You know, because we would have let him know. There would, no doubt, there would have probably been chances sat the board, etc. You know, there would have been boos, you know, and everything. This one, I don't think would be in as deep a mess as we are in now, to be honest. So yeah, definitely for me, fans would be a help. So thank you for your question, Martin. Next one is from Sean Hopkins. Oh, top of the morning to you, my friend. Sean's an old school mate, so yeah, he's Irish, in case you didn't realise. I don't know if that was a good Irish accent or not, but whatever. Anyway, how you doing, Sean, mate? How are you doing? I didn't realise this to be show, actually. Hey. Anyway, let's get to the question. If Wayne is getting the job long term, should Steve Mack be on the sideline with him or stay in the stand? Now, good question, mate. Again, touched on it, but whatever. Yeah, if, you know, Rooney is given the job, he's given the job, whatever. We can't change that. You know, like I said, the bookies have been all over the place. John Terry was like 1-8 on favourites, or 8-1 on whatever you say, odds on favourite the other week. So it, you know, are we going for this sort of young rookie manager again? You know, McClaren, I think when we played Middlesbrough, he started up high in the stands. Come the second half, near the end, he was sat behind the bench, to be honest. But if Rooney's going to be the manager, I'd personally stick Steve McClaren in the dugout with him, without doubt. You know, obviously McClaren's someone that splits opinions. You know, you get the people that see, like me, who go, yeah, he gave us undoubtedly our best football that we've seen for years at Pride Park, undoubtedly, but failed to get the job done twice. And also the Newcastle saga thing, you know. Don't get me wrong, the Newcastle saga thing similar to the Lampard thing. You know, I think it's the team he supports, etc. He didn't exactly have the best time up there. Same when he went to QPR, he didn't have the best time there neither. However, at Derby, he's had nothing but, you know, good football. Yeah, like I say, he failed twice to get promoted. But again, the first time, if we think about it really, realistically, the first time Derby went to get, you know, the 13-14 season, when he took over, he took a team that was, what, 17th, 16th, 17th, something like that in the table. And, you know, within a couple of months, we were in the top 6 and we stayed there for the rest of the season. You know, and yeah, we all know what happened in the playoff final. A game we should have won. Yeah, we absolutely battered QPR. People go, oh, he didn't start Bryson, you know, and again, it probably was a mistake. You know, he's unsure. But at the end of the day, I don't think that was the reason we lost. I just think, you know, it's pure luck. You know, we dominated the game. Then they went down to 10 men. Harry Redknapp even stated himself, you know, when he was manager at the time, obviously QPR, he said that you know, we were, I think they were playing for penalties, is what he said. And then we have a bad defending by Buxton, and then an even worse error by Keogh, and that's it, game over, last touch of the game virtually. Then obviously the next season we had high hopes, we would sat top of the league, and then Newcastle came sniffing, and we just plummeted down the league. And then obviously again he came back when Pearson put us 17th, again climbed up the table. So he seems to know how to get the best out of this club. I think they say, you know, it's that old saying, isn't it? You know, some managers just, you know, some people just suit certain things, and for some reason McClaren seems to suit Derby. So for me, whether he's manager or not, you know, or technical advisor, whatever it is, just stick him in the dugout for God's sake. Because at the end of the day, we need all the help we can get, and we know that McClaren can help us. So yeah, thanks for that, Sean. Lucy Hackett, she says, hi Simon, hope you're well. On Saturday versus Wycombe, I think in the first half we played much better and actually got a goal and scored. Yeah, we did. We actually scored a goal. Goal a month, boom, started and ended yesterday. First goal of the first and only goal of November. I think it was that a 6th goal of the season now. Was it a first from or second from open play or something daft like that? Those stats there tell you there's a serious problem that, you know, in front of goal. You know, it's bad, that is. Sorry, yeah. Anyway, she continues to say it was a nice finish from Dwayne Holmes. Second half we let slip, and in the final third we stopped holding on to the lead, and actually that didn't make any sense. We let slip, and in the final third we start holding on to the lead and actually stop conceding. Yeah. Oh, God, third of the game. Yeah, we do seem to have an issue that when it comes to between 71 and 83 minutes, we tend to concede goals. We need to go for the kill. We need to start killing games off. Because we're bottom of the table and we haven't been down in a long while. I think this year we could be battling Stoke in the league onto Coventry. So you stay optimistic, Lucy, which is good. Yes, definitely onto Coventry. But yeah, we're bottom of the league. Nothing's going our way, but you make your own luck, I suppose, in this game. That's one thing that's annoying me. We've been 1-0 up so many times. Bournemouth, Forest, again, Wycombe. We're not finishing games off. We're not getting that second goal, whether it be in the first half or if we have to wait till the second half. We cannot afford to keep, whether it's a fitness issue, I don't know. I've seen comments about the fitness, etc. But again, that also stems from the pre-season. You know, I think, again, the Athletics, they always come out with great content. I don't work for them, by the way. I'm just letting that clear. My belief. They are doing an offer at the minute, though. I will plug that. It's £1 a month for 12 months if you're a new subscriber. So yeah, check that out. Go to theathletic.com, and it's only £1 a month. Great content from Ryan, and it's not just Derby County stuff. There's Premier League stuff, NFL stuff. There's basically sport from around the world. It's really good. There's an app as well. It's really good, really good. And at the moment, like I say, it's £1 for a month for 12 months. So a really good deal. But they were saying, the Athletic was saying that there was some of the players felt that the fitness or the pre-season they had wasn't good enough to get them fit for a full season. So maybe they are struggling with fitness still, but you would think now after 12 games or 13 games, whatever it is now, that they should be able to be fit for 90 minutes and not still be holding on and trying to scrape a 1-0 win. We need to start killing games off. We need to start getting that second goal. Rooney said at halftime he stressed maybe too much how much we needed that second goal. Because obviously, he wants to. He's a winner at the end of the day. He's everything in his career. He's done it all, won it all, etc. So as a manager, he's going to be the same. And again, that's the sort of the rookie in, and that stresses too much how much they need a second goal can put too much pressure on players. But yeah, on to Coventry, Lucy. We take every game at a time. There is things to build on, positives to build on. I will take that. We did get a goal. That is a positive, the fact that we did get a goal. Let's not deny that, but we should be burying Wycombe in reality. Mark Coote on Facebook. Oh, Mark. Oh, I'm just reading my comment in your head before you said this. Now, you're like me. You're normally quite, sort of level-headed. You'll look at both sides, etc. Things like that. This is an angry Mark, man. Mark from Norway. I hope you're well anyway, mate. Anyway, Mark says, time for the experiments to stop. League One is calling us. I'm really pissed off with Mel at the moment. He should be ashamed of what he's done to our club. Yeah. Again, and it goes on, obviously, to what I was talking about earlier on at the start of the show. Mel Morris got a lot to answer for. He had his dream, was to lead this. Well, personally, I felt, I sort of went off the subject, but personally, I felt that after his 5-year plan of getting us promoted and getting us to Premier League, playing Champions League football, he would have sold anyway. That was his plan all along. It was, for me, probably a business venture, and it's gone wrong, badly wrong. And now with how wrong it's got, this isn't business. It's a business of football. It's totally different to selling apps and things like that. This is totally different. And I just think, I've said it plenty of times before, he's shown a lot of naivety. And now his legacy could potentially be leaving us bottom of the championship and going into League One. That potentially could be his legacy. So I think there's a lot of fans that are pissed off with Mel Morris at this time. And again, not just with where we are at the minute, but he does have to foot some of the responsibility. There is some people that, again, it's your opinion, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Mel Morris can't do anything wrong. And yeah, I get that. We all look at some people like that he's done everything he can, and he has. No one's saying he can't. But with all this, the stuff over the AFL and all this, and the sale of the stadium, it's just dragged down. It just, at times it feels like it's dragged down in through the muck. It really does. We all love it. When we sold the stadium to ourselves, we were all buzzing. We thought, buzzing. This is going to be fine. Nothing wrong with that. And then all of a sudden it's caught up with us, and it's like, yeah, okay, Mel, what's going off? There's too many loopholes. And again, me personally, like I said, I just want more openness from the club. I really do. At the end of the day, we're all fans. We all love this club. We all love Derby County. We all want to know what's going off, and we don't. None of us want to see us in this situation. And I think Mel, or somebody, anybody from the club needs to come out with a statement or with some sort of. Mel used to be really open. We had open forums and everything. What's happened? Why all of a sudden we're a closed book and nothing comes out? We don't hear about transfers or anything until like the day. If it doesn't come from John Percy, it's not come from anybody. You might as well forget it, because nobody knows. Because, like I say, I get that. I understand that. That's fine. That's looking after your own interest. But when it comes to something like this club is massively in debt. We're sat bottom of the championship. We're supposed to be having a takeover by a sheikh and God knows where, because we're trying. I had Salam Hafez on my last show, and he's trying to get. He's got contacts in Dubai, the UAE, and I'm talking about people that I think one of them's like the editor of the Financial Times or something like that, and they cannot get a word out of them. the Benzai group, and Mel's not saying anything. So everything's a bit up in the air. Then you get random people on Twitter that go, "Oh, takeover's off," or "Oh, this is waiting," or "This is why it's off." My favorite that I've heard is Russell Brand is putting a 12% stake in it. So that's the hold up. That's the best one. Now, and by the way, that was a fake one. And I know it was, because that was, as I mentioned at the start, so at DCSC review. Yeah, that really did crack me up when he said that. He didn't put it out loud. That was a group. That was like a what do you call it? A DM. That was funny. But yeah, there's all these sort of people that supposedly know everything, yet no one really knows anything. And nothing's coming out of the club because he's been told it to everyone to keep stum. And that's the problem. And and it's not just you that's pissing off, Mark. I think it's everyone. Every fan is really starting to annoy because we don't know anything, and we just need to know. We need to know what the future holds, or what potentially it holds. Why are we not appointing a new manager? Why have we gone with an interim manager in Wayne Rooney? He's an interim manager, so he's not been appointed. How long? You had 2 games with 4 blokes in charge. And then you put the person that's least qualified as interim manager. I don't get the thinking behind it. I really don't. So, and the longer this goes on, the more trouble we're going to get in. Kyle James 14399-757 on Twitter says, "Is Rooney is Rooney the right man for the job?" No. Is your answer? Not for me. He might be, but no, not for me. Right now, no. At this moment in time, we need someone experienced. To put a rookie manager in charge of a team that's bottom of the league, struggling to score goals, struggling to pick up wins. No, now is not the right time for Wayne Rooney. I'm sorry, but it's not. He said, yeah. The thing is, though, Rooney's quite happy to take this. Rooney said, this is what maybe sort of worried me a little bit, was the fact that Rooney's going to get a job, because he said, yeah, if things go well, that could have been my last game for Derby against Middlesbrough. What? So what you're saying is, so that's to me, that says that if he manages to pull us out of this situation we're in, the job's going to be his. Well, you might as well. So that's why I think that's the route they're going, which is dangerous and it's risky. It's a big gamble to get to do this again. Lampard came in and it worked. Lampard was back. They had great contacts at Chelsea, etc. With the players that we brought in. Can Rooney have the same effect? Can he bring players from the likes of Manchester United in? He needs a decent number 2. Lampard had Jody Morris. Jody Morris was more qualified, had the experience. Let's not forget, it wasn't all sunshine and roses under Lampard. It wasn't. We scraped top 6 on the last game of the season. That's the way it is. So, but it might work. A lot of people seem to think that Rooney hasn't got the intelligence because he says a lot, but I think that's just his Scouse accent. I thought it played really well. But yeah, like you say, you know what I mean. He doesn't come across as intelligent. It doesn't mean he isn't. Don't get me wrong. He knows. He's worked under the manager like Sir Alex Ferguson, Mourinho. All these managers. I'm trying to run it out. Van Gaal, that was the other one I was trying to think of. He's worked under all of these top managers, top managers. Obviously all the England managers worked under Capello. Was he under Sven? Was he under Sven? No, I don't think he was under Sven. Might have been. He's worked under all of these. So he's going to have a lot of knowledge. The press and the pundits and all that keep touting him for the job. Oh yeah, just give him the job. We do great. I'm not so sure. For me, if we weren't in the situation we were in, then I'd say yeah, why not? Let's give him a go. But right now, he is not the right man for this job. Final question then comes from Regan.Wilson18 on Instagram. He says, who would be your top 5 choices in order for our next manager? Jesus, Regan. Every single time you put questions on here, you don't have to give me ones that are difficult. So, okay. Top 5 managers. So, I think my first one, because I'm going with the situation we're in as well. My first one would be Big Sam Allardyce. Probably doesn't play the prettiest football, but he gets the job done, gets results, doesn't like getting relegated. So he'd be my number one. Just go get him if you can. I doubt it. I doubt he will come because I personally can see jobs in the Premier League coming up soon, as they always do around January, and in comes Big Sam to save the day. So you're looking at the likes of potentially Sheffield United if they get rid of Wilder, Fulham, Burnley, perhaps if Sean Dyche goes. Brighton maybe not, but you know what I mean. There's going to be jobs coming up for these bottom sort of 5-6 clubs in the Premier League. So that's number one choice. Number two, I'm going McClaren just because he's here already. He's in the door. He's got his foot in the door already. He's been here. He's done it, seen it all before. Again, not a long-term fix, just a short-term, just to get us out of this mess we're in because, again, his experience, he's done it before with us. He can get if someone's going to turn his team around, it can be him. So he'd be my second choice. Again, probably not the most popular of choices, but yeah, I get that. I understand everyone has got different opinions. You might not agree with me. You might. It's fine. Number three, Rafa. Why not? Rafa, innit? Again, top class manager, world class manager. I said Steve Cook earlier on, didn't I? It's actually Paul Cook. That's what I meant. So he's my number four. Paul Cook obviously did it with Wigan last season. If it hadn't been for, was it the points deduction? That's the only reason Wigan went down, weren't it? Yeah. So Paul Cook, again, he's another manager that, yeah, again, he might not be the most experienced manager in the world, but gets the job done. He knows how to get players firing. He knows how to get players playing. He knows how to instill that fight and desire into them. And that's what you need when we're in our situation. Who else would I want? What about Pep? Do you reckon Pep could do a job? I'll take it we go realistic managers. That's what I've gone with. I'm not going with managers I want. See, if you said four, it would have been all right because I know the obvious one is there that you probably people would think I'm going to say, but I don't want to say him, and that's obviously Eddie Howe. Now, I don't know. There's just something about him I don't really like. I'm not saying, he did, don't get me wrong, he did a good job at Bournemouth, got him promoted. Back-to-back promotions, then into the Premier League, kept in the Premier League for a good 5-6 years or whatever it was. But I mean, here's the reason. The reason I'm not thinking him is basically because he left Bournemouth because he didn't want to manage in a Championship. For me, he isn't, regardless of how rich the Sheikh is, he isn't going to come to Derby because he doesn't want to manage in a Championship. He's not going to come to Derby to try and bring us out of the bottom three. Here you go. Here's another one who's waiting for a Premier League job. He really is. He's waiting for. He said he wanted some time out. He's had that. He's getting that. But I think he's another manager that will go to a different club, and probably the Premier League. But so I don't know. Fifth choice then. We'll go Steve Cooper from Swansea. Steve Cooper again. Another manager that's done really good at Swansea. I just think it's a bit unrealistic, but we have been linked with him apparently. Even though he said he's not interested in the Derby job. We've heard that before from managers. But yeah, no, I think, he knows how, he's got good connections from being England under-21s coach. Again, good with youth players, so he can potentially continue his long-term plan. But yeah, it's short-term we're in at the moment. It really is. So yeah, anyway, that's all your questions. So thank you for them. The last part then, I was going to have a quick chat about Coventry. So we're back. Last part then. Coventry, their next game on Tuesday at home isn't going to be an easy fixture at all. They managed to, again, another team that are battling and scrapping, came up from League One. They got a point against Norwich at the weekend, last minute, late winner. Late wheeler, late equalizer is what I meant. So team selection then, I wouldn't drift too far away from Saturday's team. I generally wouldn't. It was an experienced squad, and I think rightly so. We went with that. I know a lot of us, like I say, when we saw the team sheet, we went, "Oh my god, well here comes a loss." But if I'm going to make any changes, I think I'd stick with the same back four, and yes, that does mean including Forsyth. He had a good game. I thought it'd be unfair to drop him. Again, his delivery into the box, delivery across the face of the penalty area was really good. I think basically Forsyth, when he played under Cocu, we all know he wasn't good. He gave the ball away far too often, but now he's playing under Rooney / McClaren. I'm going to say that because I believe it is. He doesn't have to worry about this tippy-tappy, playing out from the back malarkey. His job is basically to get up the wing and put a ball into the box. That's his bread and butter. That's what he spent so many years doing for us before. From under McClaren under 13, 14. He wasn't the best footballer. Doesn't matter. He can stick a great ball into the box. And Buchanan. It is harsh on him. He has got a lot of pace. He can, he's good in the air. Don't get me wrong, and I do like him, but I think I'd keep Forsyth after his performance against Wycombe. I just think Buchanan might, just needs to work on his crossing a little bit. It is getting there. We saw him. I don't know if you've seen it, but he put in a great delivery for under 21s, England under 21s. That was an assist. In the last international break. So it is coming, but it is a tough choice at the minute. If we're going to play this direct football, which is what we need, we might as well stay with the back four. We had I personally didn't think we were troubled that much at all, really. I thought the defense was fine, apart from that one ball in, which wasn't dealt with by Wisdom. Again, looking at it again, I don't think he switched off. I just think he misread the flight of the ball, perhaps. But he's got to be winning them balls, and he ended up swinging a leg at it. I think he maybe thought he was going to end up on his head. Ends up trying to swing a leg at it, didn't quite connect. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, no, stick with the same back four. Midfield then. So I think we had Evans and Shinnie as holding. I'd actually been tempted to put Bielik in there instead of Evans, just for a little bit of creativity. I think that's the one. I'm not saying we missed it, but I just think if you've got Bielik in there, he can pick out a different sort of pass that the likes of Evans and Shinnie can pick out. Again, Shinnie and Evans did nothing wrong for me. Both solid performances, fine performances. Again, the draw was because of the team. I can't even say it was an individual error. I really can't. Looking back at that game, at no point did I think we were going to lose this game. More for me, or draw this game. More for me. The goal really came. They put balls into our area, but they went to Akinfenwa. But I think we dealt with the second ball okay. And then apart from McCleary smashing the bar after they'd scored, that was about it. There was nothing really to deal with. But yeah, maybe I'd put Bielik in there for Evans. Keep Shinnie in there for his energy. So 4-2-3-1. So 3. I would actually go. I'd start Jozwiak on the left. He's a left winger after all. Start him on the left. Holmes on the right. CK up front, and that number 10 spot. Again, as I said, I've put Jozwiak on the left instead of Lawrence, but I'd be tempted actually to move Lawrence into that 10 role when he's more central, and he's got a bit. Because for me, it felt like Sibley had a bit of a free role. So yeah, if we are playing a 4-2-3-1. I'd bring Lawrence in and put him into that 10 role and let him. We saw it when Tom Ince played under Clement, I think it was. We played Bristol City and he got a hat trick. He was playing in the number 10 role, his preferred position. Some players just don't like playing on the wing, but we've got a habit of buying players as number 10s and sticking them out on all strikers in Johnny Russell's case and sticking them out on the wings. So we've got a winger now in Jozwiak. Stick him out on the wing. We've got a 10 in Lawrence. Stick him as number 10. So I think that if I was going to make any changes, that would be it really. But I can't really see him making, any, if any at all. Just obviously depends on fitness and any potential injuries that may come. I think sometimes I think maybe Koku protected his players too much. We saw him. We've heard him say plenty of times, "Oh no, he didn't play because he's not up to speed, or he's struggling. He's not played. We didn't want to risk him and all this. Just go and play the players again." Some of these players have, like I think Rooney said after the game, "Oh yeah, we'll have to see on Colin's fitness after the game, see if he can put the start again." He's not played. Yeah, just let him play. In his interview afterwards, he said that he was available. He was ready and he was willing to play. Let him play. So yeah. Again, so I think I'd go for that team. Really, I don't think, like I say, not a great deal of changes I would make. In all fairness, so that's my team. There's no doubt about it. It's a 6-point game. We have to win. If we do not win this game against Coventry, we've then got, I think it's Millwall and Brentford away. Whew, 2 games in London on the bounce. One against a horrible Gary Rowett team and one against a team that are flying in Brentford. Yeah, and we conceded 3 at Brentford last season. I don't really want a repeat of that. So we need to get a win without doubt. If we can get a win and maybe try and get another win at Millwall, that would be nice. No fans. Oh, no, they've got fans in. Yeah, Millwall have fans as in Tier 2 when this lockdown's over. So, yeah, Millwall have fans. So will Brentford, I believe, as well. So, yeah, it's going to be even tougher there now. So we must get a win against Coventry. I'm going to be optimistic. I think I saw enough to suggest that we can do it, and we can get a result. So they would have had, I think I personally felt there was a bit more belief in themselves. They weren't worried about. Rooney said something about going back to basics almost. They've had a lot of tactics at them, a lot of formations, a lot of things that need doing, etc. Now let's just go back to basics, just play football. The team did look at times a lot more confident on the ball. They didn't have to think about where they got to move to. I need this pass. It was just like we're playing football now. So yeah, I think Coventry will be tough. They will be in there for the fight, but I think we can. I personally, we need to score more than 1 goal. I'm going for a 2-1 win. I'm going for goal scorer wise. Then first goal scorer, first derby goal scorer. Those of my prediction league. Remember that you can hold me to this. So 2-0. I'm going to go for Colin Kazim Richards. Please be starting to get Derby's first goal. He bagged, like I say, offside goal, but I just think he seems like he's full and fit. And go and listen to the interview. I wrote an article on my WordPress site on my blog. Go. There's a link to it there. The article there to his interview there with Rams TV. If not on the Rams TV website, it's also there. But also, I think there's also one as well on. If you've got BBC Sounds or Spotify, go on the BBC Sports Scene Reaction podcast, which is also on there. Anyway, so yeah, he's my first goal scorer. So I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be optimistic. We're going to end it positively and optimistic. However, we could come Tuesday night and be like, oh no, whatever. So never mind. Anyway, that about wraps me up. Just before I go and end, I will say I have done it on my own tonight. I am always looking for guests to come on. So if you're a fan, you want to chat, that's fine. Just drop me a message on Facebook, on my Rams Writer page, the Rams Writer podcast. Search for that, or on Twitter at Rams Writer. Give me a follow and a DM. Say you want to come on the show. That's fine as well. I like, like I said I'd do things different this year, and I will get guests. I have got a couple lined up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. One of them is actually the Pride Park. Well, he used to be the Pride Park Stadium announcer. He's now basically he does it. He still does it now, just not as regularly. When he's on, we'll talk about it. But yeah, he's got some great stories to tell. He's also used to be the Derby Storm basketball coach as well. So yeah, he's coming on hopefully on my next show once he's been given the all clear from the club. Fingers crossed. So we're going to have a good chat. Hopefully he's going to be, he's going to give his views and etc. Things like that. So yeah, he's going to come on. Hopefully to have Salam on as well. back on again. You guys seem to enjoy him. Absolutely amazed by how many people listen to that show. By far my biggest show that was. So he's going to come back on. Hopefully, once this takeover is done, we'll have Richard Cusack, we'll have Ryan on, no doubt, as well. Last time again to come back on. Fingers crossed as well. I'm also in talks to do one with Dwayne Holmes and Juddy. So yeah, that's going to be on Juddy Talks podcast, but I will also upload it to this one as well. So hopefully that's going to be good as well. So yeah, like I said, if you want to get involved, just drop me a message and we'll try and sort it out. Also as well, as many may know or may not know, I do have a blog page as well, the ramswriter.wordpress.com. If any of you fancy yourselves as a bit of a writer or just wants to give it a go, again, email me. Basically, if you want to write, it's just an opinion piece. So I've got a guy called Andy Buckley Taylor. You might have seen me post some of his articles on my website. Yeah, he's not a writer. He just likes doing it. So if you want to write for me, get involved. Just send me an email to the ramswriter@hotmail.com. Give me your article and I'll do all the editing and everything for it. Stick a nice picture and I'll stick it on the blog. So why not? I'm trying to get a community now. Trying to get everyone involved. Trying to get fans involved again. And get your thoughts and everything like that. So yeah. So if you want to do that, just don't be afraid to give me a shout. So that's the ramswriter@hotmail.com, Instagram and the Ramswriter Podcast, Facebook the Ramswriter Podcast, Twitter @ramswriter. Also as well, again, if you want to become a patron for the Ramswriter Podcast, $3 a month just to support me and what I'm doing. You can do that quite easily. Just visit www.patreon.com/the-Ramswriter. Yeah. Anyway, that's me done. That's all my advertising, my plugging done. Again, get involved as always. Thank you to all those who fired your questions at me and your comments. Remember to like on Twitter, Facebook, share it if you want as well, retweet and all that. That'd be nice. YouTube, hi guys. Yeah, like and subscribe. And as always, iTunes as well. If you follow on iTunes, give it a like, give it a comment, rate it, give it a rating. That would be nice. But yeah, anyway, I'm done rambling now. Thank you as always for listening to the show, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure doing it for you as always. Fingers crossed for Coventry. Let's go out there. Let's go and perform. Let's play 90 minutes of yesterday's first half, and I guarantee you we'll win. If we play like that for 90 minutes, we'll be too much for Coventry, too much quality. Get the ball in the net, 2 goals. That's what we need. I guarantee we score 2 goals, we'll win easily. I'm telling you now. But yeah, so positivity. We can do it. We can win. Anyway, guys, I shall see you next time. And as always, come on, Derby.